Josh Hart recently made headlines when he criticized his usage with the New York Knicks. After that, it was only a matter of time before Tom Thibodeau was asked about it, and he gave a very direct and elite response. We're going to break down exactly what Tom Thibodeau said, and not only that, folks, Josh Hart also clarified his comments about what he meant about his usage with the Knicks. We're going to break down all of this and so much more today. So be sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Tom Thibodeau recently responded to Josh Hart's comments about his usage with the New York Knicks. Now, if you've been listening to Hart, he's basically been saying that the reason he's been struggling offensively is because the Knicks have been utilizing him in a way that he's not used to. He's a rhythm type of player, and he's not been given the opportunity to be given the chance to get into that rhythm. So because of that, he's been struggling. Now, it was only a matter of time before Tom Thibodeau heard those comments and was asked about him. And of course, the media asked him about it. And Tom Thibodeau gave a great direct response about Josh Hart and his recent comments. New York Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau addressed Josh Hart's comments about feeling left out on offense. And he told reporters that the veteran needs to do what's best for the team, even if he doesn't like his current role. According to Tom Thibodeau, he said the exact following: his usage is up. He's handling the ball more. The way he's being used is not any different than last year. The most important thing is to be mentally tough, to work through things, put what's best for the team ahead of any individual stuff. It's all about the team and sacrificing for the team. Shout out to the New York Post Steph Bondy for reporting that. That was a direct response to Josh Hart's comments. And man, did Tom Thibodeau not hold back at all. Did you see that comment about being mentally tough? Basically saying the fact that even if you're struggling or you're not getting to the places that you want to get to or you're not in rhythm, regardless of any of that, you have to sacrifice. You have to do what's best for the team. You have to be mentally tough. And you have to work through it. And that's exactly what he said to Josh Hart. The one thing I will criticize Tom Thibodeau on, he made this comment. He stated that Josh Hart is not being used any different than last year. See, that's where we disagree, Thibs. I believe he is being utilized differently than last year. Because last year we had Obi Toppin on the team. And he was playing backup power forward for Julius Randle. Fast forward to this year, that role is being played now by Josh Hart. That's being used differently. He plays the 4 on defense and the 3 on offense. And regardless of what you want to say, when you do that and you have to make those switches, it affects your rhythm and where you are on the court. Even Josh Hart himself admitted that he's a rhythm type of player. If you're that type of player, being utilized in this way is absolutely going to affect you because you're going from 4 to 3 from defense on offense, and it's going to affect your positioning. And he basically said the same. That's the criticism that he has about his usage. That and the fact that he's not touching the ball all the time. He has to wait about sometimes 3 or 4 minutes before he touches the ball again. And because he's an in-rhythm type of player, that affects his game. But Tom Thibodeau again stated that he has to sacrifice and adjust his game to what the team needs because it's about the team, what's best for the team. That again is a direct response to Josh Hart and his criticism on how he's being utilized. And I don't think Josh Hart is going to be used any differently given Tom Thibodeau's comments because Tom Thibodeau is a little bit stubborn in his ways. And once he sees something that he thinks works, he's going to stick to it. Even if it doesn't work all the time, if he believes it's going to work or he sees it work in practice, he's going to continue to put it out there because he's going to believe in the work that they put in practice. Remember, he always states it. It's all about the work. Putting in the work, practicing, and the work is going to get you to the next step. He always says that. So because of that and his belief and what we've seen over the last few seasons, I don't think Josh Hart is going to be utilized any differently. He's going to continue to be utilized this exact same way. So because of that, Josh Hart is going to be the one. He needs to be the one to adjust his game so he can fit better with whoever he's on the court with, especially that bench unit. Josh Hart also spoke to the media before the game last night, and he said the following. Josh Hart, again, according to Steph Bondi, reiterated that he doesn't feel as involved in the offense as last season because he's not touching the ball as much, and converting catch and shoots are difficult when he doesn't have a rhythm. Josh Hart also stated that he agrees he passes up on open shots and explained it's because he feels uninvolved. Again, Josh Hart clarified that he's a rhythm player. So sometimes, if I don't touch the ball for 4 or 5 minutes running up and down the floor, just catch and shoot, I might as well be playing with a football. I can actually see both sides of this. On one end, you see Tom Thibodeau who's saying, listen, this is what I need you to do. You're supposed to be the everyman on this team to do anything and everything I need you to do. I'm asking you to be this player because it's what's best for the team. I need you to be that player. So I can see Tom Thibodeau's perspective, but I can also see where Josh Hart is coming from as well too. The type of player that he is, he needs to be in rhythm. And if your player is telling you that as a coach, you need to be able to adjust and allow him to get into rhythm. Allow Josh Hart to touch the ball more if that's what he needs to do to get into rhythm, to be that impactful player that we need him to be. And I don't know what happened. Maybe it was a conversation that Josh Hart and Tom Thibodeau had. Maybe it was his recent comments. Maybe it was Tom Thibodeau himself stating that he has to be a little bit more mentally tough in his recent comments directly to Josh Hart. I don't know what it was, but Josh Hart responded in a big way, and he had his best game of the season last night against the Charlotte Hornets. Josh Hart put up a game best plus 25, had 17 points, 7 of 10 shooting, 2 of 3 shooting from the three-point line, 6 rebounds, and it was Josh Hart's best scoring game of the season. Talk about a response. Again, I'm not sure what was said, but clearly a fire was lit underneath him by the comments either Tom Thibodeau stated, by what the media was saying. Something definitely inspired him and motivated him going into that game. You could see it. As soon as he touched the ball, when he got into the game, he was looking to make an impact. This type of Josh Hart, if he's on the team, is going to be a game changer for this Knicks team. This is the Josh Hart that we gave that contract to. This is the Hart that we gotta see each and every night, because this is the impact that we expect. This was the type of impact he was giving us last season. That's why he was getting so much praise from so many Knicks fans, myself included. You couldn't help but praise him because of the impact. This impact is absolutely was needed. And after the game, he spoke to the media and he gave these hilarious comments. Shout out to SNY's Ian Bagley for reporting the following. Josh Hart's exact quote was, Josh Hart says he's not disgruntled. That's the quote Hart asked reporters should make sure they tweeted after he took questions about the game. Hart was in a good mood after the game, said his recent comments didn't factor in at all in his strong play versus the Charlotte Hornets. Say what you want to say, Josh. At the end of the day, it was your best scoring game of the season, and in my opinion, your most impactful game of the season. I haven't seen you have this type of impact since last year. That's how long it's been. It's because of the fact you haven't been in rhythm, to your point, but also I feel like when you've touched the ball in other games, you haven't looked to get yourself involved in the offense. You've looked to put yourself in that corner because it seems like that's what Tom Thibodeau has asked you to do. Even though that's the game plan and you're being asked to do that, I don't think he wants you to limit your game. I think he still wants you to be the same type of player you were last year, but have the threat in your game to be that type of player, because that's the type of player the Knicks need right now. That's going to help the Knicks. If defenses are going to collapse on you in the corner, that's going to open up space in the lane for Brunson, for Randall, for RJ, for whoever you're playing with on that court to thrive, especially if they thrive in the paint. If you play with Emmanuel Quickley, doing that helps Emmanuel Quickley thrive in the paint. So I agree with Tom Thibodeau. If he makes that sacrifice, gets better in that regard, it's only going to help the Knicks. But it's a two-way streak. And I think this is going to be an ongoing thing that we see back and forth this season, with Josh Hart making comments that he feels like in the offense he's not that involved, and Tom Thibodeau saying it doesn't matter, you have to sacrifice for the team and you have to be mentally tough. I think this is what we're going to see moving forward. But hopefully, Josh Hart has gotten the message. This is the Josh Hart we're going to see moving forward. And hopefully, we're not going to have to see reporters ask him questions where he's going to have to give these type of criticisms anymore, because he's going to play at a high level like we saw last night. Only time will tell, but I wish Josh Hart the best. I hope he can continue to be this impactful player for the Knicks, because I'm telling you for certain the Knicks need it. But what about you guys? What do you think about this entire situation about Josh Hart, his usage, and clearly what Tom Thibodeau and his direct response had to say about it? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.